Yo, still Bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, I'm heading to work. It's Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week. Tomorrow we got Teofimo versus Jermaine Ortiz. Looking forward to that fight. Let's go, Jermaine Ortiz, man. But Pete gang, let's get into this shit, man. That's this whole Bud Crawford and Canelo situation, man. I'ma keep shit a stack with you. As I stated before, I'm not interested in a Bud versus Canelo fight as of now because I just feel like it makes more sense for Canelo to fight David Benavidez because David Benavidez has been there. He's been there. He's been a mandatory for some time now, and it's a fighter in his division. You dig? Like that's the fight that everybody is clamoring to see. I'm not really interested in Canelo pulling up Bud 2 divisions beneath him to fight him. Even though I understand why Bud wants to do that, and Bud is the one that's really pushing the line on that. I wouldn't be mad at the fight. Of course, I'd watched and paid for the fight. There's 2 of my favorite fighters fighting. So, of course, I'm going to pay for it. And, we got to support the champ. You dig? Of course, I'm going to pay for it. But that doesn't mean I have to have a certain level of bias towards it. I still don't think it's a fight that makes sense. I think it's a dangerous fight for Bud. I'm not really interested. Can we at least get David Benavidez out the way first? Let's get David out the way first. And then go and entertain Bud. But I want to speak to the kind of contradictions as it pertains to these two, man. Canelo is obligated to fight David Benavidez. He's obligated to fight David Morrell. Now, people are clamoring to see him fight Jaime Munguia. And just, come on, my nigga, you got the arrow still. The fuck? He's held to the standard where he has to fight any and everybody in the division. No questions asked. No questions asked. But when we look at my man Bud, he doesn't have to fight Boots like it's not necessarily a war cry for him to fight Boots. There are people saying that he has to fight Boots or whatever the case may be, but it's not as imperative that he fights Boots as it is Canelo fights Benavidez, man. And I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really give a fuck to see Boots fight Bud. I don't. I definitely don't. And why don't I? Because Boots he was sent to offer a multitude of times that they have came out and stated, yeah. Bozy came out, yeah, but we're loyal to Showtime. They do us well over there. I bet that. Y'all do your thing, then. Good luck to you on yours. And it just seems like it's clout chaser shit. It's manipulative. How they doing it? Tell Bud to come and get his belt back. Tell Bud to come and get his belt back. You dig? Like that shit is corny. Like I've stated before, y'all can take the belt away from me. You can't take away my my achievement that I reached with it. I'm the first man to go to undisputed, double undisputed in the 4-belt era. I'm the first one to do that shit. So you can't take that accolade away from me. And that, it's like it's guilt tripping, it's begging and all that shit, man. And it's weird because not only did when Spence sat on that belt for years and he was never stripped. The minute Bud gets it, he has the belt for 2 or 4 months, and he's stripped. That's completely unfair. And at this point, it's like, nah, man, I'm good. Y'all do y'all thing. And I don't think he should have to be obligated to fighting Boots. I don't, especially when it's a fight like Tim Tszyu on the horizon. That's the fight that I really would like to see. Bud versus Tim Tszyu. That's the fight I would really like to see. But he's not being indicted in the manner that Canelo was being indicted when it comes to David Benavidez. Now, granted, David Benavidez is a 2-time world champion or whatever, and I think he's making a lot more noise than Boots is doing. But that doesn't necessarily change the dynamic of the situation. Both of them are fighters in in the division that you campaign in. Go holler. Now, granted, everybody is really hung up on Bud versus Canelo for September, and we have yet to see it. Bud is he's issuing the challenge. He hasn't been stripped yet. And he was just talking about, I got Tim Tszyu in the scope. So it's not necessarily a confirmation. from either side, from either camp. It's an interest between the two camps. It's an interest. I don't even know if it's an because I don't think Canelo's conceded to it. I could be wrong. They're saying that it's talks or whatever, man, but them is rumors. That's on the rumor mill. So we not necessarily sure if he's actually looking to go fight them niggas or go fight that nigga. So we gotta leave room, you gotta leave wiggle room. You gotta leave room for, you gotta leave margin for error. So it's not etched in stone that he's gonna fight Bud in September. That's not etched in stone. Despite what the reporters are saying, what the reports are saying. You dig? So let's hold off on that. But my main point is, why is it acceptable for Bud to circumvent Boots, but it's not cool for Canelo to circumvent David Benavidez? And the same people who are banging on Canelo for not fighting David Benavidez are the ones who are welcoming Bud fighting Canelo and not having to look at Boots. It's the contradictory for me, man, because it's and that just shows the level of vitriol that you have for the ginger. Y'all, it honestly does, man. It honestly does. I'm a pro Canelo channel, man, but that does not make me exempt from the bullshit, bro. No, I don't want to see you fight nobody else but David Benavidez. That's just the long and short of it, man. That is the fight that we need to see right there, man. That is the fight that we need to see right there. That is the fight that we need to see right there. You dig? But people set themselves up for the mousetrap when they say the shit that they say. Y'all are welcoming for Bud versus Canelo. But if Bud gets beat by Canelo, it's gonna be, oh man, he don't get no credit for that. He was supposed to do that. He was the bigger fighter. How come you ain't fight David Benavidez? It's a lose situation. And those same people are not holding Bud to that same standard that you got to go holler at Boots. Now, me personally, like I said before, I don't give a fuck about seeing Bud versus Boots. I don't. I don't. I don't think Boots is really deserving of a fight. He ain't fought no damn body. His best win is Roman Villa, which is a good win, but is that enough to get you a crack at Bud? No. It shouldn't even have been enough to get you elevated to a title. He's not doing nothing, you dig? He's going to be one of them niggas who waits on Bud, like what Keith Thurman is doing. You're going to paint yourself, or Demetrius Andrade is doing. Y'all going to paint yourself into a corner, and the only escape route out of that corner is a fight that you are not prepped and built to win. Thurman is not prepped and built to beat no Tim Tszyu. Demetrius Andrade wasn't prepped to win to beat goddamn David Benavidez. And I just feel like that's what Boots is gonna do, man. Come get your belt back. Come get your belt back. Come get that little, that childish shit, my nigga. Like, nah, no, bro. Take your ass over there, go fight them niggas. And I ain't talking about no Mario Barrios. So I'm not mad that Bud is not like, nah, he don't bring nothing to the table. But nobody is indicting him neither. And as he said, I feel like I can do what I want to do. So it's cool for him to do what he want to do, but it's not cool for Canelo to do what he want to do. Like, come on, man. Like, we got to stop eventually, man. We got to stop. Y'all got to, eventually we got to hold your feet to the fire. I don't think Bud should do what he wants to do. I don't think Canelo should do what he wants to do. I mean, you still have a fan base to appease. I think Bud needs to just go on ahead and move up to 154 and get Tim Tszyu in the scope. That is a balling ass fight in Australia. Hell yeah. And I don't think Canelo should do what he want to do. It's understandable. Like, if he fights Jamal Charlo, it's a trash fight. Yeah, as I've stated before, but it's understandable why you gonna fight that fight. Y'all said I was ducking this nigga. I need that. Y'all ignored all of the facts just to stay on this bullshit narrative that I was ducking this nigga. Nah, bro, give me that. Run me my fade. It makes sense to me. Line that up. Line that up. So I'm not mad at that fight. I'm mad at it, but I understand it. So the point is, I don't think Canelo should be able to do what he do what he wants to do. I don't agree with that at all. But I don't think that he should be pigeonholed and held to a standard of, your career is, is incumbent on you fighting David Benavidez. That's where I'll draw the line at, because I'm like, he's beat far more accomplished fighters than David Benavidez. He's beat more well-rounded and better fighters than David Benavidez. But you gonna make me like, it just doesn't make no sense, bro. It makes no sense. And the same people who are encouraging Bud to jump up and fight Canelo Alvarez was shutting down Tank versus Monster Inoue at a catchweight. Like, y'all don't make sense, bro. Anytime, just Bud looked spectacular against Earl Spence. And niggas are trying to, take that victory away from him. There was no time in history where Spence was going to be able to deal with Bud. Wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. Bud is too much to do. He's too much for Spence. He always has been. But people are taking that victory. They're taking that victory and they're running with it as if Canelo was a carbon copy of Earl Spence. And because he looked the way that he looked against him, he's going to look that way against any and everybody else. And, never mind, Canelo's a generational talent, pound for pound fighter, right? Top 5 pound for pound fighter right now. But, oh, man, look at what he did to Spence. I said he was going to beat Spence. Spence is not Canelo, bro. What are we talking about? It's just any way to slight Canelo Alvarez, bro. It's real weird energy to me. It's really weird. It's contradictory, bro. It's like, man, just pump your brakes, my nigga. God damn. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. So, no, I don't think that either one of them should be able to do what it is that they want to do, man. I don't. I don't. But it is you can't call yourself, indicting Canelo for not fighting David Benavidez, but not indict Bud for fighting Boots. You can't do it. You honestly can't do it. The difference is Boots is a champion right now. And I don't like I must say it once again. I don't give a fuck about Bud versus Boots. I don't care about that fight. I don't. There are bigger fish to fry. There are bigger fish to fry. Give me Bud versus Tim Tszyu. Give me that. I need that. Give me that fight. You dig me? So I just want people to keep the same energy. I just want people to keep the same energy. Benavidez and Canelo, like you gotta fight David. You gotta go see David Benavidez. He does. I think he does. I think he does. But where do you get the fact that like you're forgiving of him not fighting David Benavidez and welcoming him of fighting of Bud? It just doesn't make sense to me, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. The dude is literally, y'all are trying to paint homie into a corner out of spite. Out of spite, if Bud beats Canelo, that is going to be a victory. That, oh man, he lost to a welterweight. They're not gonna sing the praises of Bud more so than they're gonna use it to clap at Canelo. I see it already. I see the shit already. Contradictory, man. Tomfoolery, honestly. Tomfoolery. Tom fucking foolery. Yo, I'm not done. I got more to say about the show. Pause. Yeah, all right, I'm back, man. But yeah, man, it's just, the contradictions, man. The contradictions. It gets childish after a while, man. It gets childish after a while. You dig? I'm not a fan of that fight. And if that fight was to happen, I see the writing on the wall if Bud was to win. If Bud was to win. Bud wins, oh shit, Canelo lost to a welterweight. That point is going to be highlighted more so than Bud's greatness and going that high and beating the top 5 pound for pound generational talent in Canelo Alvarez. Like I watch how you dudes move in these boxing spaces, and I'm like, y'all are. It's knee jerk reactions. It's childish. You dig? It's just it's petty. It's petty. And I don't even like that people are endorsing this shit. I don't. I don't. I don't. But on the flip side, there were people who was, they was overjoyed about Canelo potentially fighting Earl Spence. They was overjoyed about that. They was overjoyed about that. And it's the same people who are banging on him for not fighting David Benavidez. No, it's petty shit, man. It's petty shit. I never wanted to see Spence versus Canelo because I knew what was gonna happen. I knew what was gonna happen. Just like I knew what was gonna happen with Bud and Spence. So I don't want to see these fights, man. I want to see Canelo in there with David Benavidez, and I want to see Bud in there. I want to see how Bud looks at middleweight before we consider moving him up to super middleweight to fight a top 5 pound for pound generational talent, bro. I just think that's really unfair. I think that's really unfair, and the fact that he's the underdog in this fight, Canelo will be the underdog in this fight, or even considered being the underdog, I think is blasphemous to me. You dig what I'm saying? So I just want people to just stop the contradictions, man, and just it's easy to walk within a path of righteousness because you don't have to try to find ways to justify the delusions that you're making. And after a while, it gets mentally draining trying to find ways to explain why this shit makes sense. And when you could just say, nah, bro, that ain't the move. It ain't the move. So nah, man. Give me Bud versus Tim Tszyu. Give me Canelo versus David Benavidez. Give me those fight next. I can deal with Jamal Charlo next. And we don't even know what Bud is doing for within the next few months. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if he's gonna fight Spence in the rematch. We don't know. We don't know. If he decides to fight Boots, all right, so be it. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I don't think I'm not about to indict that nigga for not fighting Boots. I can give a fuck less. I can give a fuck less. Even though Boots is a good fighter, he ain't fought nobody to really prep him for someone of a caliber of Terrence Crawford. So I don't really give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about that. He ain't beat nobody at no. Benavidez is at least beat somebody at no. That's the fight I want to see him. See Canelo in, man. Deuces.